Hi, and welcome to Career Discovery Sessions, where each week we'll be talking to individuals about their career choices, as well as any advice they have for us, as students who may or may not know what they want to do in life. Today, we have passionate language teacher of the Italian language, Daniele Pio Buenza, who, apart from having taught at some of the top institutes in Italy and England, has also founded his own language school, LearnIt Cambridge, which I personally attend and recommend. Ciao Daniele, sono molto felice che siamo qui oggi insieme.
Thank you. Me too. When you told me about this project of yours, I was very thrilled because I've attended many of like career days at university and both in Italy and in England, and they are very useful indeed because I know what it is like to be a student and to uh, wonder what's going to be next, and you never know where you're going to, where you're headed. Although you do have, everybody has plans, but then life is always more complicated than one can imagine. But that's the beauty of it as well. So I was very thrilled to be invited, and I'm ready to share my experience and my opinions.
Perfect. Well, we can begin by just asking you a little bit about your general thoughts on what it's like to decide your career. What do you think people should know before applying to university and before applying to job roles and apprenticeships and so on?
I think I can say that I am an example of this uh, not having uh, an idea of what you want to do in the future in a way. My passion has always been languages, so that's been a constant feature of my life. In fact, I studied when I was your age. My school, the main subject was languages, and then a university in Italy, I studied languages and how to teach languages. Looking back at my life, what I would say is that everybody should follow their own passions, first of all, because of course one could ask the question, what is success? What's success when it comes uh, uh, to a job? Is it to uh, please people around you? Is it to get a job where you earn a lot of money? Is it to have power? Personally, I think that what success is to follow uh, your own passions, uh, and to be able to understand life around you and to maybe change your ideas. As I said earlier, the answer to your question is do what you want. In brief, do what you want, what you think it's your calling in a way. But then also be open to change that if you think it's not exactly what you thought it would be.
Right. So you said that languages have been a passion for you since a very young age. When did you decide that this was also the profession you wanted to do? How did that happen?
As I said, I studied when I was your age. I was studying languages. Then that was my first choice for university, was actually to study law, not languages. So I did 1 year studying law, and then after that year, I decided to go back to languages. So you can see that this is a theme, I think, of my life, that I wanted to experience other things as well. I wasn't stuck with one idea, and I didn't do one thing all the time. That was an amazing experience because it was what I wanted, and I knew it from the first moment. But as I said, I wanted to try something else, so I went back to it. And thanks to the Erasmus program, which is not there anymore for British students, I'm sorry, but thanks to the Erasmus program, I came to England for a year, and that's when I decided that I wanted to continue after my MA. I wanted to continue with a PhD in England because I liked the British system. These 4 years of PhD were the experience, the events that made me realize that actually I didn't want to do research. I wanted to teach, and more specifically, I wanted to teach languages. After my PhD, so I got back into teaching, and I taught at the Impington Village College for the IB program. And then after that, I opened my own school of languages, of Italian, and soon of English as well.
So yeah, that's really great. That's a great movement, and you obviously show us the bumpy road to finding your place in the world. Um, what do you wish you had studied more of when you were in school? Do you think you wish to go back and change your decisions about some things, maybe law, or do you think it was the right path for you?
Um, I think it was the right path. In school, I studied everything that was the school system in Italy is different from the English one. But I mean, I wasn't the best student. I was always, I think, just out of the first three, like fourth or fifth, uh, which is says something about my approach to life, I think, as well, because I knew I did everything I had to do, but I did it. Never to. I don't think I was ever exceptional in any of the topics. I liked challenges, for example. I mean, so a lot depended also on the teachers. So when I had a teacher who was more who was tougher, I got better results. When I had teachers who were less interested in teaching, then that's when I also sort of I went down a bit. What I wish I studied more. I mean, sometimes I thought what it would have been like to continue after school with law, uh, but also sometimes I wonder what it would have been like to continue with a scientific subject.
So, moving back to the present day, can you tell us a little bit about what your profession is? What do you do on a day-to-day basis?
What I do is teach Italian. I teach Italian to students, either in a one-to-one setting or I teach Italian to groups. Uh, this is put it in a very few words. Uh, what I do as well is to understand how a human being learns a language. So I keep very detailed, as you know, possibly very detailed records of all the activities I do, all we do together, and I have dozens of books, and I'm experimenting all the time on what is the best way to teach Italian in this specific case. So as like on a parallel road, I'm doing teaching and at the same time researching on what is the best method to to do what I do.
Reflecting on that, what do you think is a good personality type for a person who wants to go into this career?
Often I found through the years that language teaching is often left to people who speak the language as native speakers. So if you're Italian uh, and you live abroad, you might feel entitled to teach Italian, but that's not enough. I think that's one of the problems in my field. I personally think that there are many teachers who are not uh, qualified enough, we could say, or maybe they don't have the experience or they don't know what it is like. What do you need to teach a language? So what do you need is, first of all, knowledge of what happened so far, because language teaching is something that has been going on for hundreds of years. And at the end of the 19th century, there was some scholars tried to uh, put down a few principles and also a few methods. So there's a whole array of methods that have already been tried. Make the example, I could give you the example of the Second World War. During the Second World War, when the American soldiers had to go to Japan, and so all of a sudden they would be parachuted. Is that a word in English? Where they out of a plane, they would just land on Japanese soil, and then they had to speak Japanese. So how do you do that when you have no idea of the Japanese language, and you have to learn this in 3 months? You have to be able to communicate in 3 months. So things have been already tried before, and there are many other examples I could give you. But so a person who wants to teach languages, first of all, should be, I believe, familiar with what happened so far. A teacher who wants to teach a language, I think, should go through the experience of learning a language as well. I think it's easier to put yourself into the shoes of the students when you have been there. So knowing the past, knowing your past, knowing the past of the field, and then having this scientific approach of and trying to be intelligent in the etymological sense of the words. So from Latin, to be able to read into the situations, and just try out what is the best approach, and always try to improve yourself, because by improving yourself, you will make it easier for your students to learn the language, and that's what you want as a teacher, I believe. And if my students was able to order a meal in Italian, I would be super happy.
Do you think there are any other similar careers to what you do that give perhaps the same kind of happiness and pleasure when doing?
I think all careers can give the same level of happiness and pleasure, as long as it's what you want to do. For me, for example, moving on from my PhD, where in theory an academic career was open in front of me, to leaving that and opening my own language school. I mean, I cannot deny that it's not an easy thing to do, to change completely, to follow your passions and your even instincts sometimes. But once you find that, then all jobs, they can make you happy. Like teaching languages makes me happy.
And I want to also ask for all of the students listening who may want to go into this career, what is your advice for them?
First of all, I think there are some key words or concepts, I think, which I wrote down just so I don't forget them. So sometimes I will be looking down. So the first one is motivation. But one thing I wanted to stress, that this motivation sometimes you have to find it within yourselves. Sometimes you can find it from you can be pushed into an experience by, I don't know, the enthusiasm of your family, and so that sort of motivates you to do something, and that's a very good thing. But there will be moments when it will be just you, and so you have to find that motivation, especially when times are hard and you've been doing something for a very long time and maybe you're tired. You have to find that motivation in yourself. The second general principle, in a way, or the second key word or key concept, is adaptation. Being able to adapt to life is, of course, being able to understand what's going on around you and do the right choices. But it's also, I think it's also the capability of learning from your experiences. Even if something doesn't go as planned, then you will learn something out of that experience, and you will apply that learning into your next experience. And so what's failure then? It doesn't exist. Or anybody should, I think, in life work on their positive attitude, in the sense that, again, uh, trying to work out something positive out of all experiences, and also connected to the idea that there is no failure, concept of resilience. So be resilient, in the sense that you should always, sometimes, uh, not when things don't go as planned, you might feel down, uh, but you should never give up. I mean, you should always continue. This might seem obvious or banal in a way, but uh, when you are living those moments, it's not as easy as it sounds, to be resilient. When you're not living them, then it seems obvious as an advice. But when you're actually living it, that's when you have to be resilient. And one last thing, one and a half. One is be assertive. So assertiveness, which I think believes it means, above all, two things. To be assertive is to be confident in your own choices. So just pursue them, no matter what. But also, don't be afraid of to reverse a decision. If you think you want to do something, if you're doing it and you like it and it's the right thing for you, continue on the road, on the path you chose. If you think it's not the right path, just go back and think again. What I found out is that collaborating, uh, and learning from others, and in team working, can be a huge source of knowledge, and you can learn so much from other people. So in a way, again, be open to other people, be open to other experiences.
Do you have any other advice for us as students who may be wishing to
uh,
continue?
I think my advice is to stop for a moment and think what you want to do. You might not know what you want to do, and that's, as I said at the beginning, I'm a perfect example of that. You might find your way, not now but later. Think about what you want to do. Think about, I think, the definition of success. I mean, just stop for a second and think, what is success? Is it to have power? Is it to have money? uh, is it to do what you want to do? Keep an open mind. Do what you would like to do, and do it like giving your 100%.
Thank you so much for being here and for all the insightful comments. I hope you
No, it's a
enjoyed speaking
pleasure.
to us.
No, it's a pleasure. I wish you all the best. I wish you really all the best.
That concludes our talk with Daniele Pio Buenza. I hope he has taught you about the 5 key principles of being a successful individual in the work life. Next week, we're going to be talking to a completely different professional in a completely different field. I hope you stay tuned and come back next week at Career Discovery Sessions. Bye.